Well, my guest this morning is one of pop music's most recognized and best-selling artists, Brian Littrell. Having sold nearly 80 million albums worldwide with 12 U.S. top 40s hits, he reached the highest heights of fame as a member of the Backstreet Boys. Brian achieved the success despite being born with a hole in his heart that nearly took his life numerous times. Last year, Brian surprised many of his fans when he released his first Christian recording, In Christ Alone, which quickly became a #1 hit single. And now in his debut Christian album, Welcome Home, Brian shares his faith in Jesus Christ while encouraging others to do the same. Brian is not only letting his faith shine through his music, but also through his life. He is the founder of the nonprofit organization, the Brian Littrell Healthy Heart Club for Kids. He is a devoted husband to his wife, Leanne, and father to their son, Bailey Thomas Wiley Littrell. Please welcome with me, Brian Littrell. Brian, well, how did you start singing?
I grew up in the small town of Lexington, Kentucky, singing in the Southern Baptist Church, actually. Porter Memorial Baptist Church was where I grew up. I come from, a blessed family.
When you say you sang there, were you in the choir?
I was in the kids' choirs. And
so did you have a robe?
Choirs. No, we didn't do the robe.
Didn't do the robe thing? Okay.
Robes, but okay. I can maybe try one on.
We can find one for you, I have no doubt. Jim, go on. No, just kidding.
No. So I grew up singing in church as a little boy. My mom and dad sang in the choir. My grandparents sang. So it was a God-given gift that was, I think, granted to the whole family. So.
When did you start singing solos or quartets or quintets or whatever it is?
Wow. It was probably the age of 5 and 6 was when I first remember really delivering the solos in the church choir and in the congregation. But
so a childhood prodigy?
Well, I don't know about that. I just think I'm blessed. I've been gifted in my life. God's given me a wonderful gift, but He's also allowed me the biggest gift of all, and that's to stand for Him and show the world that I'm not afraid of who I am and who God's made me.
So how do you transition from the local Baptist church to the Backstreet Boys? It's just a little bit of a transition there, I would assume.
It was a huge transition, but it literally happened overnight. My cousin Kevin is the oldest member of the group. Him and I grew up together. All of our families sing together. And he had moved to Florida, to Orlando, just after the loss of his father, who is my uncle. And started working at Disney World, and then got involved with Howie, Nick, and AJ. Became a member of the Backstreet Boys, and he kept referring to a cousin who was blonde hair and blue-eyed and would fit right in. And so I got the chance. It was April 20th of 1993. I'll never forget flying on a plane, the first time by myself, to really, have a life-changing moment. And I truly believe God has done nothing but multiply my audiences.
So how old were you when you went out there to Florida for the first time? Were you?
Had just turned 18.
So you were just 18. Graduated from high school?
I was a junior in high school. Or you were still in high school? So you were a junior in high school. I hadn't even graduated. I had not even graduated yet. With the heart defect that I was born with, I was held back in the first grade because I missed about 2 months of first grade. So that's why I was a year older than my friends. But I was getting ready to accept a 4-year scholarship, a vocal scholarship to Cincinnati Bible College, where I was going to attend and study youth ministry and music ministry. And that's when God said, well, I've got other plans. So He moved me to Florida, and here we are 14 years later, and I'm really hopefully impacting lives in a positive way. That's hopefully what the Backstreet Boys have done for many families all over the world, and I can continue to do that and share my spirit and my hope.
Well, I've heard that your concerts are very family-friendly.
They are. They are.
So people can bring their kids and they don't have to worry about any unusual displays.
You are correct. I value and I pride myself in saying that the Backstreet Boys have made for over a decade good quality music for families. I was sharing with a young lady backstage. I was like, Backstreet Boys make music where you can play the whole CD and the parents end up really coming to and drawn to the music because it is positive. And it does bring families together and generations together. It's not the music that is, oh, Jimmy, tell me when track number 5 gets here so Daddy can skip it. It's not that. It's good quality music.
When did you discover you had a hole in your heart?
Well, we have to go back, over 31 years ago. I was born with a congenital heart defect, a heart murmur.
You've always known it then?
I've always known, yes. It wasn't until age 5 that I was in the hospital for about 2 months of my first grade year where I had developed an infection, a bacterial infection, that I was not supposed to live from. It's only by the grace of God and a miracle that I am here today, and I really think that God is using me in an amazing way to really stand up for what I believe in and stand up for what He has showed me in my life's path. We fast forward to 23 years old and traveling with the Backstreet Boys and discovering the stress of life and lack of rest and not eating correctly. My heart was enlarging. So in 1998, I underwent open heart surgery at the age of 23. And that's when my wife and I and my mom and dad founded the Brian Littrell Healthy Heart Club for Kids, because we really, in having a personal experience with going through a struggle like that, it is a testament to your faith. And God really used the height of the Backstreet Boys' career to keep my feet on the ground by going right after my heart. And it's such a blessing, and I love to share my story. I'm blessed.
So in the surgery, they closed the heart?
They did. They did. They went in, and I feel like a surgeon or a doctor. I don't have my doctorate.
That's okay.
I feel like a surgeon when I talk about it. They went in and sewed the VSD, which is a ventricular septal defect, up with my own tissue. It was kind of Dr. Danielson, the surgeon at the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota. He said, kind of while we're here, we'll just flip his heart over and see what's on the backside. And there happened to be a hole the size of a $50 on my tricuspid valve on the backside of my heart. And it had not shown up on any test, any echocardiogram or anything like that. So it's only by the grace of God that really I was able to continue traveling the world with the Backstreet Boys and really using the Backstreet Boys as a huge platform for my ministry, because that's what God has really called me to do.
So God helped you through the open heart surgery. Your heart is in good shape. Talking about heart, your heartthrob, Leanne. Oh. How did you meet her?
I call her my better 3/4. We normally say better half, but she's my better 3/4. So, my lovely wife, I met her. We've just celebrated over 9 years together. We've been married over 6 years. We're proud parents of Bailey Thomas Wiley Littrell. We only say that when he gets in trouble. But
otherwise, he's simply Bailey, right?
Yes. Or Bubby or something,
Bubby, is that his nickname?
We have all kinds of nicknames.
Oh, he's here in church this morning. Both of your wife and your son are in church, and your parents. Would you stand up? We want to welcome you to the cathedral.
That's my mother Jackie and my father Harold.
Look at those curls. Wow.
I've got many stories to share about my son being on tour with the Backstreet Boys. He would always steal my microphone, and then he would come over and he would say, "Daddy, let's sing together." And I said, "Well, I can't sing because you have my microphone." And he would say, "Well, go get Nick's." So it was like, how does a 3-year-old justify, go get somebody else's, I've got yours. So, it's, God has done nothing but bless my life continually and continues to do so. And I'm very proud to be here. What a beautiful place this is to be here to share my faith.
Well, thank you. Now you have a new CD out entitled Welcome Home.
Yes.
And what do you want to tell us about this?
Well, Welcome Home is, I think it encompasses everything I am as an artist. Growing up singing in church, I've been influenced by any and all types of music because I am a music fan. Little did I know that I would have the opportunity to touch so many people's lives on a Backstreet Boys stage. But what you will find on the Welcome Home CD is really who I am as a father, who I am as a son, who I am as a brother, and just as a person. It's got contemporary Christian music on it. It has traditional Southern gospel music on it. And it has mainstream pop music on it as well that is in an inspirational fashion. So that's what you'll find. If you don't have it already, pick it up and it'll touch your heart. I'm not sure how, but it will in some way.
I have no
All right.
doubt. Brian, it sounds like you're ready to sing.
Oh, okay.
Do you sing for us?
I will do that, sir.
Brian, we appreciate it.
Thank you, Reverend.
God
Appreciate
bless you and sing.